dices ahorita que me quieres a tu lado, qué lindo sería.
Back we are on the SportsMax Zone. Defending La Liga champions Atletico Madrid heaped even more pressure on the beleaguered Barcelona head coach Ronald Kuhlman with a 2-0 win at the Wanda Metropolitano Stadium on Saturday. Luis Suarez, who was basically run out of Barca by Kuhlman last season, was on the score sheet to consign his former team to their first defeat of an underwhelming campaign. Kuhlman's team is now 9th in the table, and veteran defender Gerard Piqué sounded like a broken man in his post-match comments. This is what he said. It is a complicated situation. We're suffering, and I have to be honest about that. It isn't one problem. There are several people can see what we lack, but we recover. We could have been playing for 3 hours and not scored a goal. Brent Sancho, you're still with us. Barca, Atletico. We saw before Saturday many frailties in the Barcelona team. Those were again evident in that defeat to Atletico. And Piqué is as correct as can be. They could have been playing until right now. It's very difficult to see where Barca would have gotten a goal from in that game.
Yeah, it was when you think it couldn't get any worse, it just gets very much worse every single time Barcelona takes the pitch. I remember we were talking about the Benfica debacle, of course, losing 3-0. We were talking about the type of players that Barcelona have, and they should be doing better. And then they come out and put this type of performances against Atletico Madrid. And look, it's just going to get horribly worse. And I stood by what I've said all during this, that Ronald Koeman arguably he's probably one of the worst managers that I've ever coached Barcelona. And, and I hate saying these kind of things about managers because I respect what they do for the game, but he's just, some of his decision making is, I mean, he put De Jong to play out wide, and we can go through a whole list of things, and it's depressing for me because Barcelona is a team that we all love to watch, whether it's Lionel Messi there or not. They have some exciting young players coming through the ranks, and you just look at that game and you have to shake your head, lost for words, because it is getting worse and worse. It's a nightmare that keeps on happening.
So, isn't it true, though, that with the problems the team has been having, the problems that the club has been having, and the fact that the players all know that the coach, it's just a matter of time when the money is found before he is changed, do you think that the players' attitude is also weighing down a team that is short of the right players in the right positions?
Yeah, I think when you sit in that locker room and every time players get, whether it be social media, newspapers, when I played, there were always newspapers and magazines in the locker room. And every single magazine that you pick up shows that your coach is on his way out. The president is talking about finding money to fire him. I mean, you think to yourself, this guy's not going to be here any longer. And sometimes you second guess what he's saying to you. Every single sporting news outlet is second-guessing, rightfully second-guessing the stuff that Kuhlman is doing. And then you start to wonder if Kuhlman is just trying things for trying things' sake because he's already out the door. It's such a messy situation, and it's a situation, of course, that doesn't help anyone at all, the players, especially the younger ones that are coming through, because I could just imagine the morale in that locker room, that they just want to see the back of Ronald Koeman and of course, start trying to rebuild their season.
Yeah, and I get the sense that, the players, they have no confidence in him. And speaking about players who have no confidence in Ronald Koeman, and I guess it's based on the manner in which he treated him. Luis Suarez, we saw him doing a phone signal when he scored his goal. And of course, hailing Ronald Koeman, reminding him of the sort of unfair treatment that he received when he was at Barcelona.
Yeah, but I don't blame Kuhlman for that. I think he was just instructed to get rid of Luis Suarez, albeit, of course, he could have done it a better way. Maybe go in with a representative from the club or what. That's what normally happens. I don't know what in anyone's name why Ronald Koeman would pick the phone up and try to fire a player. That's just crazy. You don't do that. And again, it sums up the type of individual that you're dealing with in Ronald Koeman and why he's just not the right man for the job. But Luis Suarez and Atletico Madrid, they were struggling coming into this game. They didn't play particularly, they haven't been playing particularly well. They themselves have had their challenges, but you couldn't tell in that game. They looked very at home, and they were very easy and eased to the 3 points that Barcelona gifted them.
Yeah, and of course we need to make mention of Joao Felix, who had one of his best games, because we know since the move to Atletico Madrid, he's been struggling. A lot of people waiting for him to fire.
Mariah, when I spent the last week in Madrid, and particularly we stayed at the Wandana Stadium, and we had the chance to mingle with some of the executives, etc., and of course people that support the club, the cleaners, etc. And one thing they all said is that they believe there is some sort of rift between Joao Felix and, of course, Diego Simeone, the coach. And they mentioned and referenced a similar rift between Fernando Torres and of course, Simonis. And they feel, the feeling is that Simonis is the type of individual that likes to hog the spotlight. And any player that comes in and tries to hog the spotlight, he quickly dispatches. And they think, wow, Joao Felix is that same person that may feel that brunt from Simonis. Because there's no reason why this young man should be playing. And we saw all his attributes in the game on Saturday. And I think anyone that watches Atletico Madrid would say that they do play better when he's on the pitch. And for the life of me, I don't understand why he's had such a patchy time at Atletico Madrid, because clearly he is the type of player that they need to be able to function and score goals.
Yeah, funny you buy a player for 120 million plus and try to suppress him. Anyway, these are the full results from the weekend slate of games in La Liga. Alaves Athletic Bilbao 1-1. Osasuna beat Rayo Vallecano 1-0. Mallorca, they beat Levante 1-0. No goals between Cadiz and Valencia, confirming Atletico beating Barca 2-0. Elche were also victors 1-0 over Celta de Vigo. Espanyol 2-1 beating Real Madrid. Villarreal 2-0 over Real Betis. 1-1 between Getafe and Real Sociedad. And Granada beating Sevilla 1-0. So absolutely no road victories in the Liga in the last round. All the wins being taken by home teams. This is how the table looks. 3 teams atop the pile with 17 each. The 2 Madrid clubs and Real Sociedad. As Sevilla and Osasuna come next. Barca down in 9th on 12 points. Getafe, Alaves and Levante in the relegation zone. Granada not too far away from them. And Villarreal, they are in 11th spot on 11 points. The same as the team from Mallorca. So we're talking, Brent, about a hangover that seems to have affected Real Madrid in their game at Espanyol. Beaten by Minos from Moldova, but beaten by a good team from Espanyol. And Carlo Ancelotti now is scratching his head looking for answers.
Yeah, and I think he doesn't have to look far. You just have to look into the middle of the park. I think they do have a problem there. Of course, they started with Toni Kroos in front of the back four, and I don't think that worked. Of course, they had the young man that we both like, Camavinga, playing a bit out of sorts, flanking Kroos, and I think that was one of the problems there. And look, give credit to Espanyol. I thought they were excellent on the day, and they well deserve of victory. But once Real Madrid figures that side of things out, and I want to add the fact that from a defensive standpoint, once you move Alba out the center of defense, I think that sometimes they struggle there. Because they need a leader. They've lost Sergio Ramos, and I think at the back they need a leader, and Alba certainly is a leader. And I think with those 2 things in particular, if they could solve it, which I feel they can, they should get back on track.
Yeah, Espanyol for so long, well, they are one of the small teams from, well, they've been branded as one of the small teams from Madrid. Atletico and Real hog the spotlight. Nobody really talks of them as a Madrid team, but that was a really, really good performance. Eden Hazard, there have been flashes from him since the start of the season to suggest that he may really discover his best form. But I am one who thinks that his Chelsea form will never come back. It's just a bit like Gareth Bale. The magic has gone. The genie has left the bottle. He'll have some good days, but he'll never be the player that we came to know and love. What say you?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Football sometimes is an unforgiving sport, and I think if Hazard could go back in time, he certainly would not have shown up to training 100 and something odd pounds overweight. I'm exaggerating, but of course, I think that's one of the reasons why he struggled. He's just never found himself since that, because being overweight leads to injuries, and he's just never been able to catch back the form that he's had at Chelsea, and certainly he's not going to find it back at Real Madrid. And again, George, you have to mention the fact there are some very extremely talented youngsters coming through the ranks that is going to push him for his position. So he's not going to have the time as well to be able to get the way he played at Chelsea back here at Real Madrid. I think it's a write-off, and at some point when he moves on, Real Madrid would look back and think that it was money not well spent.
Yeah, very early days just yet, but you've seen Real Madrid close up because you spent some time in Spain. Are you willing to call the La Liga race now? Meaning, based on what you've seen so far, which team appears to be the strongest team? So I won't hold you to it if they don't win the title, but I just wanted to give the fans, the viewers, an idea of where you think the title will go this season based on what you've seen.
You know, normally these types of conversations we'll be talking about Real Madrid and Barcelona, but it's safe to say this year in La Liga, I don't feel that those two teams are going to be there. I do feel the likes of Atletico Madrid, even Sevilla, as well has shown strength and what they can do. And if Real Sociedad could hold it together, they might be there and thereabouts. But I must say that between Atletico Madrid and Sevilla, I do feel you have two teams that have the depth and have the talent within their squad to make a serious challenge for the La Liga Championship.
Okay, Brent, we're gonna leave it there. You've been in Europe for so long. I'm not sure if PM Rowley will let you back into TNT when you're ready to travel back to the Caribbean. But we'll talk, brother.
All right, guys, take care. Have a good one.
Okay, still to come on the show today, Jamaica Premier League. The season is over and Cavalier are the champions. Their coach Rudolph Speed stopping by. And later we are talking about the West Indies' readiness to successfully defend the men's T20 World Cup. Joseph Reds Pereira, like others across the Caribbean, just a little uneasy with the under 3 weeks to go to the team's first match. He will tell us why in the last half an hour of the show.